I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal.
What is the African dream? Is it success, freedom, peace? Over here, dreaming feels like a luxury. And a lot of us don't have that. No rich parents, connections. Our government don't really care about us. And our people doesn't seem to understand the concept of unity. It's a game for the rich, while the rest are just trying to survive another day. Is this the way it's supposed to be? Or things are going to later change for better? This is my story as an African boy that wants more from life. We are 54 countries, but more divided than united. Borders drawn by strangers. Tribes at war with tribes. Sometimes it feels like the African dream ends where our differences begin. We have been blessed with natural resources, but we haven't been really able to use it to better ourselves. We have only been exploited over the years, and slowly, our blessings started becoming a curse. Yeah, talent is not enough. Hard work is not enough. You need connections, or you wait years for doors that might never open. The African dream dies every day in offices that was built to protect it. And poverty became one of the two, to control the people. We had to fight hard for our own independence, but we remain dependent on our colonizers. They refer to us as third world country. Long time ago, they forcefully took us out of our continent, but now, we fight hard to gain visas and entry into their countries. They take our brightest minds and strongest youths, while Africa remains stagnant. In Africa, your name, your tribe, your gender can decide your future before you even start. We don't just fight poverty, we fight the systems that make sure it stays. And one of the most painful things for me is, though we are a lot different, we suffer from the same problems. And because we suffer from the same problems, there are the same solutions for them. And we have to find a way to work together as one to solve those problems. Then, we can start enjoying individual success in our differences. So, what is the African dream? For now, it is survival. But maybe one day, it will be more than that. Maybe one day, we can dream without waking up to a nightmare. Maybe one day, a child can choose who they want to be without their tribe, gender, or passport deciding for them. Maybe one day, we can measure success by opportunity, not by how far we can run away from home. Maybe one day, the African dream won't be to leave Africa, but to live in it fully, freely, and without fear. And that is my African dream. This is one of my favorite videos, and it's also one of my hardest videos to make because I actually took a trip out of Nigeria for the first time. I went to Benin to film these clips, and I actually had a very good time there. And because I struggled to develop the idea, the story that I want to tell with the clips, like I mentioned in my previous video, whenever I make videos like this, I don't actually know what it's going to be about. It's when I start editing them, the clips, that I will now start deciding, okay, this is a story I want to tell with it. So if you have seen this video to this extent, that means you're a real one. And I just wanted to comment real one. I like to know my real ones, right? And yeah, like the video said, what is the African dream? Because it's something that I always ask myself, right? And I think I mentioned it in the comment of my video, the obsession of the African obsession with things that doesn't matter. That I am not an activist, right? But I like talking about these things because I feel like one step to solving a problem is to actually make people to be aware of it, right? And that's why the issue of like tribalism bothers me a lot, right? Because at the end of the day, like I always say, we are different. I know, I can see that we are not all the same, right? Nigerians have different tribes. Nigerians are still different from Ghanaians. Ghanaians are different from South Africans, Zimbabweans, Rwandans, and stuff like that. But if we look inwards deeply and we want to admit to the truth, we realize that we actually suffer from almost the same problems. So some of us are doing better than the other, but we have not done enough to our potentials, and that is the truth. And even there was some time that I was starting to believe, low-key in my head, that maybe it's just in our genes, in our blood, to not be more developed than we are, or to even never developed. But when I started making more research, I realized that it was less about the genes or the blood, it was about the mind, right? Because if you're to give birth to a child now, it comes with like XY if it's a boy, XX for girls. You come with like the full chromosome and everything, except it's a special kid. So we are all created equally. But what differentiates us is how we start using our mind, our resources, and how we start interacting to people around us. So I started making research. I said, why is it that it was easy for them to colonize us? Almost easy, right? Why was it that we were the one that had to like go through all of this struggle until date? It just doesn't seem like we are able to like develop more than what they have been able to develop for us. And I realized that it was because of we are so blessed as Africans, right? We have a lot of natural resources. Water was around us. We don't even have any natural disasters. Unlike, the whites, the Europeans, Americans, that, their lands could not grow food. They were already fighting advanced wars between themselves for land, for space. They had to deal with natural disasters. So that helped them. That made their mind started working faster than our own mind, right? Even was the reason why they started exploring to see, are there other places? What other things can we get to, build our city and everything? And they discovered us just there enjoying our lives, right? And, they saw what we could not see, right? But this is not years ago anymore. We are not in that era anymore, and it's time for us to start coming together and start using our resources ourselves and start using our mind to benefit ourselves. And that should be the African dream. The African dream is not is not supposed to be to travel out of Africa, right? It's not to work for them again. It's to build our own country. It's to make sure that our government, we hold them accountable. It's to make sure that we don't allow tribal things to cause separation between us. When I see how Igbos and Yoruba fight, Hausa fight in Nigeria, I'm like, it pains me a lot. And lately I see Ghanaians saying Nigeria must go, right? Just like years ago when Nigeria says Ghana must go. Nigeria goes through discrimination in different countries. Africans go through discrimination in different countries, right? And I'm not saying Nigerians are all good people. I'm not saying we are not different. I'm not even saying we should come together as one. But the truth, if you are to admit to it, is that we suffer from the same problems. I saw it on TikTok. Black Americans are trying to boycott African businesses. For what? Right? So no matter how you want to put it, you are in somebody's bad book, right? But you just have to look over some things and just work together for a common goal, for a common purpose. Until then, we can now start enjoying our success and our differences. Like I said in the video, doesn't matter. If my country is good and your country is good, I can stay in my country and just flourish. You can stay in your country and flourish. So anytime we come together, we have mutual respect and we come together in love and we keep growing. And that is what it should be for Africans. And that is why we all need to start doing better, right? And if you're watching this and have seen this video to this extent, I want you to share the message. Even if you cannot share the video, share the message. Correct the people around you. Let them know that we are not going to grow by discriminating against ourselves. If somebody says something tribalistic, if they say something that is gender discriminating, if they say something that is like just out of pocket, correct them. Like for me personally, I don't stay around people that I cannot talk to, correct, and share my ideology and let them know that this is how it should be. Right? And that's why I said I'm not an activist. Because most of the time when somebody stands for a movement and they are the face of that movement, it's easier to crumble that movement. But the best way is to actually open the mind of people around you. So that when they demand it for something, they demand it for it together. Right? And that is what we have to start doing as a group of people, as African. And only then can a normal African kid, an average African kid growing up, have a dream that they can be something, and there'll be something in Africa for Africa. And yeah, I hope that makes sense. And I'll be seeing you guys in another video. Thank you for always watching. Remember to stay creative, stay wicked, and stay blessed. And I'll be seeing you guys in the next one. Cheers. Where the guy gonna carry us to? To be a beginner sucks.